But firstly, tonight with Christmas Day over for another year, I think it's worth reflecting on whether we're actually losing Christmas. Anecdotally, it seemed that there were fewer lights, fewer decorations. Shopping centres, well, they were pretty modest or muted in their Christmas shtick, which I think is pretty sad. It's as if the same woke corporates which took shareholders' money and threw it at that failed Yes campaign are now clawing back their losses by underinvesting in Christmas. You know, they said yes to the divisive voice and now they're saying no to Christmas, one of the most uniting times of the year. Today, of course, has been Boxing Day, a day which was originally created to give gifts to the poor. If the United Nations had been involved 2,000 years ago, it would have, of course, been called the International Gift to the Poor Day. But this all started in Western Christianity. Boxing Day was always known as St. Stephen's Day. And this bloke, St. Stephen, was the first Christian deacon in Jerusalem 2,000 years ago. He was eventually charged with blasphemy. As you see, he taught against what was at that stage the established doctrine. But St. Stephen was in fact martyred, stoned to death. And if you know your Christmas carols, you'd know that line from Good King Wenceslas about the Feast of Stephen. Yep, Boxing Day. It all has a very big religious underpinning. But nowadays, Boxing Day is not about giving. It's actually just a part of Christmas, isn't it? Really, the second day of Christmas. It's the day of sales, the day when hot cross buns appear in supermarkets. For heaven's sakes, hot cross buns is all about Easter. How we seem to have become a godless lot, haven't we? But Christmas Day is the celebration of the birth of the Christ. It's about giving, not receiving gifts. It's triggered acts of care, concern and compassion, often missing from the rest of the year. Back in World War I, despite the gory battle, both sides on the Western Front stopped fighting on Christmas Day in 1914. They played soccer. They exchanged goodwill. They resumed battle the next day. Sadly, this year, tough economic times, another war in the acknowledged Holy Lands of Israel, or is it the ongoing march of anti-West doctrine? Whatever it is, it seems Christmas is not as in vogue. And I think this is really sad for our children. Christmas has always been a time of optimism, a time of hope, of magic. And we can't do much about war in other places. We can, however, do something about the anti-West mantras now being taught in schools and universities. And we can also do something about our economy. I mean, let's face it, for a start, we're cursed by internationalists determined to weaken the West, countries like ours. You see, they've invented a new god. It's called climate change. They want us to worship at the altar that they've designed. They want to tithe our wages, to pay more taxes to the cause they've decided upon. We're consigning our children to misery as their future. If the left is succeeding in killing Christmas, only you and your family can in fact save it. And I believe we can actually save our traditions, save our Western values, one family at a time. And it's just so vital that parents and grandparents regale younger Australians with stories of effort begets reward, sacrifices can actually achieve success. Let me put it in plain language. If you want a house, you're going to have to actually adjust your selfish behaviour and living for today approach. We should also tell younger people that they should reject this fatalistic rhetoric that the world is on fire. You see, we've always had hot weather, floods, cyclones, drought, and in Brisbane right now, Sydney, the same thing. You know, big storms going across this time of year, that's pretty standard. Climate change is the biggest con job on the world. And so why do we tolerate this putrid hatred of our way of life, which is hurting our children? Our children deserve the magic and the hope of Christmas, yet even at preschools, they're being told Christmas is bad. Chadstone Shopping Centre in Melbourne was invaded by people who had a different view today, all to upset the Christmas norm. It's not offensive to non-Christians this time of year. It's absolute nonsense. Our political class, well, it's so broken. The mantra of the end of days, more tax, more misery, more control of our lives. This fundamental distrust of individuals, while at the same time making society the cause of the worst behaviour. You know, criminals are now victims. Victims of crime, well, you know, they're just collateral. It's all designed to make us doubt our values, doubt our heritage, our way of life. There's plenty of Grinches in government, headlined, I think, by that bloke Chris Bowen. He seems hell-bent on destroying our economy through higher electricity prices, dismantling our sovereignty by destroying our ability to manufacture anything here. He's a danger to your family. But the Prime Minister is just letting him get away with it all. Any wonder the polls suggest this Prime Minister is now a dud. And my guess is that he is going to try and save himself. He's going to throw a few ministers out of their jobs to save his own. So he's hoping Chris Bowen is out the door in 2024, or else, well, frankly, next Christmas may well be the one where we're reminiscing about how good this Christmas really was.